Commander Lee Hanna walked slowly across the control room of the space station called Cerberus. The station floated far from Earth, watching the empty space between stars. For 12 years, she had worked here, listening to voices from across the galaxy. The big screens on the wall showed thousands of alien messages flowing like rivers of light. Green lines meant trade talks between the bug-like Zephyrians. Blue pulses carried war plans from the metal warriors of Vega. Red waves brought science data from crystal beings who lived near distant suns. Hanna loved the constant noise. It reminded her that Earth was not alone in the dark. Somewhere out there, millions of alien creatures lived, worked, and dreamed, just like humans did. Park Ji-won sat at his desk, watching numbers scroll past on his screen. He was 25 years old and had joined the station crew only 2 years ago. His job was to catch any dangerous signals that might warn of attacks on human colonies. Same busy day as always, Ji-won said with a small smile. The Zephyrians are fighting about metal prices again. Kim Min-ho laughed from his corner station. He was older, with gray hair and kind eyes. His job was to translate the most important alien messages. Those bug people always fight about money. Some things never change, no matter what planet you come from. Hanna nodded and poured herself coffee from the machine near the window. Outside, stars sparkled like diamonds scattered on black cloth. She had seen this view every day for years, but it still made her feel small and amazed. The clock on the wall showed 14:25 Universal Standard Time. Hanna remembered this moment later because it was 2 minutes before everything changed. She was drinking her coffee when the screens began to flicker. The green lines wobbled. The blue pulses slowed down. The red waves became thin and weak. Ji-won, check your equipment, Hanna said. Something looks wrong with the signals. Ji-won pressed buttons on his control panel. His face showed confusion. All systems show green, Commander. Everything works perfectly. But the alien voices were getting quieter. The thousands of messages became hundreds, then dozens. Hanna felt her heart beat faster as she watched the flowing lights slow down like a river running dry. At exactly 14:27, everything stopped. The screens went black except for the soft glow of the station's own systems. No green lines, no blue pulses, no red waves. Just empty darkness where the voices of the galaxy used to be. The three humans stared at their screens in shocked silence. The only sounds were the quiet hum of the station's machines and their own breathing. Run full diagnostics, Hanna ordered, her voice sharp with worry. Check every system twice. Ji-won's fingers moved quickly over his controls. Lights blinked as the computers tested themselves. All equipment working perfectly, Commander. Receivers are fine. Transmitters are fine. Power levels normal. Min-ho was checking his translation computers. My systems are good too. But Commander, I was watching 17 different emergency channels from different alien races. They all went quiet at the same moment. Hanna felt cold fear creep up her spine. In 200 years of human space travel, this had never happened. The galaxy was always full of noise, always full of life. Alien civilizations talked to each other every second of every day across millions of light years. Until now. Maybe it's some kind of natural event, Ji-won said hopefully. Like a solar storm, but bigger? Hanna shook her head. A storm big enough to block all signals across the entire galaxy? That's impossible. She walked to the main communication panel and opened a direct channel to Earth Command. The signal would take 30 minutes to reach home, but they needed to report this immediately. Earth Command, this is Cerberus Station. Priority Alpha emergency. Please respond immediately when you receive this message. Min-ho was still searching, his frequencies hoping to find even one alien voice still broadcasting. His face grew more worried with each empty channel. Commander, it's not just the big civilizations. Even the small trading posts and research stations are quiet. Everything is gone. The silence stretched on. Minutes passed like hours. The three humans kept checking their equipment, hoping to find some mistake, some simple explanation for why the galaxy had suddenly become as quiet as a tomb. Hanna stared out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there on thousands of planets around those distant suns, alien civilizations had been living their daily lives just minutes ago. Now there was nothing. No messages. No signals. No proof they still existed at all. What could make every alien civilization go silent at exactly the same time? Jiwan whispered. None of them wanted to think about the answer, but they all knew that whatever had silenced the galaxy might be coming for humanity next. Earth's colonies were spread across dozens of star systems, full of people who had no idea that they might now be the only voices left speaking in an empty universe. Hana gripped her coffee cup tighter and kept watching the stars, waiting for Earth Command to respond, and hoping that when they did, someone would have an explanation that didn't terrify her to her bones. But deep down, she already knew that humanity was now alone in the dark. Dr. Choi Daeun rubbed her tired eyes and looked at the computer screen again. She had been working for 18 hours straight in her small office at the Seoul Institute for Alien Languages. Empty coffee cups covered her desk, and papers with strange alien symbols were scattered everywhere. The news about the Great Silence had reached Earth 6 hours ago. Every human colony was sending panicked messages. People were scared. Some wanted to pack up and run to the edge of the galaxy. Others wanted to hide and hope that whatever killed the aliens would not find humanity. But Daeun had found something in the final alien messages that made her hands shake with fear. "Show me the Centauri message again," she told her young assistant, Yoon Sung-ho. He was a smart student who usually made jokes to keep everyone happy. But today his face was pale and serious. The alien symbols appeared on the screen like twisted metal letters. Below them, the computer showed the translation in simple human words. "They are here. The dark ones come. Death follows. Warn the young races before—" The message ended there, cut off like someone had turned off a radio in the middle of a song. "Now show me the one from the Vega Empire," Daeun said. Different symbols appeared, looking like sharp crystals arranged in patterns. The translation read, "The devourers approach from the void. Stars go dark. Reality breaks. Tell the children of Earth to—" Again, the message stopped suddenly. Daeun had found the same pattern in messages from 17 different alien races. All of them tried to send warnings in their final moments. All of them mentioned dark ones or devourers or silence bringers. And many of them specifically mentioned Earth or young races or children of the stars. "Professor," Seung-ho said quietly, "why did they try to warn us? They barely knew humans existed." Before Daeun could answer, her communication screen lit, up with an incoming call. Admiral Kang Ji-hoon appeared, his military uniform neat but his face showing deep worry lines. "Dr. Choi, I need your report immediately. The president is meeting with colony leaders in 1 hour. People are starting to panic. Some colonies want to shut down all communications and hide. Others want to evacuate to the far edge of the galaxy." Daeun straightened in her chair. "Admiral, I have translated final messages from 17 alien civilizations. They all encountered the same enemy at the same time. Something they called the Dark Ones, or the Devourers. What do these creatures want? I don't know. But Admiral, here's what frightens me most. Many of the aliens tried to warn humanity specifically in their final moments. They knew something was coming for us too." The Admiral's face grew darker. "How long do we have?" "I don't know that either. But there's something strange. If this enemy could destroy every alien civilization at the same moment, why haven't they reached Earth yet? We're not hidden. Our radio signals have been broadcasting into space for over 2 centuries. On another screen in Daeun's office, news reports showed crowds gathering in the streets of major cities. Some people were crying. Others were angry. Many were demanding that the government do something to protect them. "The people are scared," the Admiral said. "Colony ships are already changing course, trying to get as far from known alien territories as possible. But running might not help if this enemy can strike everywhere at once." Sung-ho pulled up a map of the galaxy on his screen. Red dots showed where alien civilizations used to broadcast from. Now all the red dots were dark. Only one small blue dot still glowed, marking human space near the edge of one spiral arm. "We look so small," Sung-ho whispered. Daeun studied the map and felt a cold fear in her stomach. Humanity had always known they were newcomers to the galaxy. While aliens had been traveling between stars for millions of years, humans had only left Earth 300 years ago. They were like children compared to the ancient alien empires. But now all those ancient empires were gone, and only the children remained. Admiral, Daeun said slowly, what if we weren't attacked because we're not worth attacking? What if these Dark Ones see us as too small and weak to bother with? Or, the Admiral replied grimly, what if they're saving us for last? The communication screen flickered as more reports came in from across human space. The Mars colonies were building underground shelters. The mining stations near Jupiter had gone to full military alert. Even the peaceful research stations were asking for weapons. There's one more thing, Daeun said, pulling up the clearest alien message. This one came from the Wise Ones of Proxima. They were the oldest known civilization, over 10 million years old. Their final message was different. The screen showed symbols that looked like flowing water mixed with starlight. The translation appeared below. The test comes again. Only those who refuse the silence may pass. Fight with noise. Fight with chaos. Fight with the sound of life itself. Admiral Kang stared at the message. What does that mean? I think, Daeun said quietly, it means our enemy hates noise, hates life, hates everything that makes the universe complicated and messy and alive. Then maybe, the Admiral said with the first smile Daeun had seen from him all day, it's time to show them just how noisy humans can be. Captain Na Hyok stood on the bridge of his ship, the Prometheus, staring at empty space where a planet should have been. According to all their maps and computers, the capital world of the Centauri Republic should be right in front of them. Instead, there was nothing but darkness and distant stars. Check our position again, he told his navigator, Im Soo-young. She was young but very good at her job. Her fingers moved quickly over the control panel. Position is correct, Captain. We are exactly where New Centauri should be, but there is no planet. No pieces of broken rock, no radiation, nothing at all. Hyok felt a chill run down his back. New Centauri had been home to 8 billion aliens just 3 weeks ago. It was a beautiful world with blue oceans and white cities that reached toward the sky. Now it was gone as if it had never existed. Captain, called Chief Science Officer Yang Min-seo from her station, I am detecting something strange at coordinates 047 Mark 12. You should see this. The main viewing screen changed to show what her sensors had found. At first, Hyok thought there was a problem with the screen. A perfect circle of absolute blackness hung in space, darker than the empty void around it. What am I looking at? Hyok asked. I don't know, Min-seo replied, her voice filled with confusion. It doesn't reflect light from the two suns here. It doesn't give off any heat or radiation. It's like a hole cut out of reality itself. The dark sphere was perfectly round and completely still. But as they watched, it began to move slowly toward their ship. Distance? Hyok demanded. 50,000 kilometers and closing. Captain, it's not just moving through space, it's doing something to space around it. Min-seo's instruments were showing readings that should have been impossible. The area around the dark sphere was changing in ways that hurt her brain to think about. The fabric of space itself is dissolving around that thing, she whispered. Matter and energy are just disappearing. Hyok had been a ship captain for 15 years. He had seen strange things in deep space before. But this was different. Every instinct he had was screaming at him to run as fast as possible. How big is it? He asked. About the size of Earth's moon. But Captain, my sensors are detecting more of them. Dozens more scattered throughout this star system. On the screen, small red dots appeared to mark where other dark spheres were located. They were everywhere, drifting between the planets like deadly seeds planted in a garden. Are they all moving? Hyok asked. Yes, sir. All of them are heading toward the center of the galaxy, toward the core worlds where the biggest alien civilizations used to be. The main sphere was getting closer. As it approached, the stars behind it seemed to bend and twist, as if space itself was being pulled into the darkness. Captain, Soo-young said with fear in her voice, the sphere is now 30,000 kilometers away. At this rate, it will reach us in 20 minutes. Hyok made his decision quickly. All hands, prepare for emergency jump to hyperspace. We leave now. But Captain, Min-seo protested, We need more data. This might be our only chance to study whatever destroyed the alien civilizations. And it might be our only chance to die, Yuck replied firmly. We're going home to warn Earth. That's more important than scientific data. As the Prometheus prepared to jump away, Minseo ran one final scan of the dark sphere. What she saw made her gasp with horror. Captain, that thing just scanned us back. It knows we're here. The sphere had stopped moving toward them, but now it pulsed with a deeper darkness, as if it was thinking or communicating with something far away. Jump now, Yuck ordered. The ship disappeared into hyperspace just as the dark sphere began to move again, this time much faster than before. During the long journey home, the crew of the Prometheus studied the data they had collected. The pictures and sensor readings painted a terrifying picture of what had happened to the Centauri Republic. The entire star system is infested with those spheres, Minseo reported to Hyok in his private cabin. They're not just destroying things, they're unmaking them, removing them from existence completely. How many alien civilizations do you think are gone? Hyok asked. All of them, Captain. Based on what we saw, I think every alien race in the galaxy has been erased by these dark spheres. Hyok stared out the small window of his cabin at the swirling colors of hyperspace. Somewhere ahead was Earth, full of people who had no idea that they might be the last living beings in the entire galaxy. When we reach Earth, he said quietly, we'll tell them what we found. But I don't think running away will help us. Those spheres are moving toward the galaxy's center, but eventually they'll spread everywhere. What do you think they are? Minseo asked. I don't know. But whatever they are, they don't belong in our universe. And somehow, we're going to have to find a way to fight them. As the Prometheus raced through hyperspace toward home, neither of them knew that the dark sphere had indeed detected their presence and was already sending a signal to its companions, telling them about the small, noisy creatures who had dared to look into the darkness and lived to flee. The hunt for humanity had begun. Dr. Han Minji wiped sweat from her forehead as she knelt in the deep hole her team had dug in the Gobi Desert. The sun was setting, painting the sandy hills orange and red. She had been digging here for 3 months, following strange readings that her instruments had detected far underground. What she found changed everything. The stone tablet was huge, almost as tall as a person, and covered with symbols that looked like nothing she had ever seen. But when she compared them to the alien messages that Dr. Choi Dayun had sent her heart nearly stopped beating. They were the same symbols. Professor Han called her assistant, Lee Jinwoo, from the surface. Dr. Choi is calling on the radio. She says it's urgent. Minji climbed up the ladder and took the radio. Dayun, I found something incredible. The symbols from the final alien messages are carved on a stone tablet buried here. But this tablet is millions of years old from long before humans existed. That's impossible. Dayun's voice crackled through the radio. How can alien symbols be on ancient Earth? I don't know, but my translation computer is starting to decode them. Dayun, I think this tablet is a warning left by some ancient race that lived here before humans evolved. Minji had spent weeks teaching her computer to read the strange symbols. Slowly, word by word, the ancient message began to make sense. What it told her made her hands shake with fear. The tablet spoke of creatures called the Unmakers. They came from the empty spaces between universes, where nothing existed except cold darkness. Every few million years, when galaxies became too full of life and noise and thinking creatures, the Unmakers would emerge to clean everything away. They're not evil, Minji read from her translation. They're like white blood cells in a body, removing infections. But to them, all life is an infection. All thinking is a disease, all civilization is a mistake that must be corrected. The ancient beings who wrote the tablet had watched the Unmakers destroy their galaxy once before. Millions of species had vanished in a single day, their worlds and ships and people simply erased from existence. Only a few races had survived, by hiding in special places where the Unmakers could not find them. Earth is one of those special places, Minji told Dayun over the radio. Our solar system sits in what they called a shadow zone. The magnetic fields around our sun create a blind spot that hides us from the Unmakers' perception. That's why Humanity wasn't attacked with all the other aliens, Dayon said with excitement. We're invisible to them. Not anymore, Minji replied sadly. The tablet says the shadow weakens as a hidden race expands into space. Our colonies and ships are moving beyond the protection. Soon the Unmakers will see us too. She continued reading the ancient warning. The beings who wrote it had studied the Unmakers for thousands of years before their own civilization fell. They learned that these creatures consumed not just matter and energy, but the very ideas that allowed reality to exist. They ate complexity and left only simple emptiness behind. But there's more, Minji said, her voice growing excited despite her fear. The ancients wrote about something they called the test of voices. They say that most civilizations simply surrender when the Unmakers come. They become quiet and wait to be erased. What about the ones who don't surrender? That's the amazing part. The tablet says that very rarely, maybe once every 100 million years, a race appears that refuses to be silenced. These races have something the ancients couldn't understand. A drive to fight even when victory is impossible. Minji traced the symbols with her finger as she read the most important part of the message. When such a race appears, they don't fight the Unmakers with weapons or shields. They fight with noise itself, with chaos and complexity and all the messy, complicated things that make life beautiful. And sometimes, just sometimes, they can push the Unmakers back into the void and save not just themselves but the entire universe. Do the ancients think humans might be one of these special races? Dayon asked. Minji looked at the final symbols on the tablet. They were different from the others carved more recently. Someone else has been here, Dayon. These new symbols are only a few thousand years old. I think other humans found this tablet long ago and added their own message. She fed the new symbols into her translation computer. When the words appeared, on her screen she felt chills run down her arms. The young race shows promise. They sing when others are silent. They laugh when others weep. They rage when others surrender. If any can pass the test of voices, it will be the children of the noisy blue world. Children of the noisy blue world, Dayon repeated softly. They mean us. They mean humanity. Minji stood up and looked at the stars appearing in the darkening sky. Somewhere out there, the dark spheres were moving closer to human space, bringing with them the final silence that had claimed every other civilization in the galaxy. But maybe, just maybe, humanity was different. Maybe they were the race the ancients had hoped for, the ones who would refuse to go quietly into the dark. Dayon, she said into the radio, I think it's time to find out just how loud humans can be. Commander Lee Hana floated in zero gravity, inside the command center of the battleship Defiance, looking out at the greatest fleet humanity had ever assembled. Thousands of ships stretched across space like a metal constellation, warships from Earth, cargo vessels from Mars, mining ships from the asteroid belt, and research stations that had torn themselves free from their orbits to join the fight. Every human colony had sent volunteers, mothers and fathers, students and grandparents, soldiers and scientists. They all knew this might be humanity's final day, but none of them wanted to face it alone. Fleet status report, Hana called to her communications officer Kim Minho. All ships ready, Commander. We have vessels from 47 human colonies and settlements. Total crew count is 2,300,000 people. Admiral Kang Ji-hoon appeared on the main screen from his flagship. Behind him, Hana could see his bridge crew working frantically at their stations. Commander Lee, are your people ready for this crazy plan? Hana smiled, though her heart was pounding with fear. As ready as anyone can be for something that's never been tried before, Admiral. The plan was simple in theory but terrifying in practice. Dr. Yang Min-seo had spent months building quantum transmitters that could broadcast human thoughts and emotions across the entire galaxy. Instead of trying to destroy the Unmakers with weapons, humanity would attack them with noise, every kind of human expression they could create. Science team reports ready, announced Dr. Choi Daeun from the research ship Harmony. All quantum transmitters are linked and calibrated. Through the viewports, Hana could see the dark spheres approaching. Dozens of them, each one the size of Earth's moon, moving through space like holes cut in reality itself. They had consumed every alien civilization they encountered, and now they came for humanity's home. Distance to enemy? Hana asked. 12 hours at current speed, reported Navigator Im Soo-young. Commander, long-range sensors show hundreds more spheres behind these ones. If our plan doesn't work, it will work, Hana said firmly, though she wasn't sure she believed it herself. It has to work. The fleet had positioned itself between the dark spheres and Earth's solar system. Every ship bristled with the quantum transmitters that would either save humanity or accomplish nothing at all. There was no middle ground. All ships. This is Admiral Kang, the Admiral's voice echoed through every vessel in the fleet. Today we don't fight with bullets or missiles. We fight with what makes us human. We fight with our voices, our songs, our stories, and our refusal to be silent. Hana felt tears in her eyes as she thought about everyone back on Earth. Children, playing in parks, couples holding hands, old people telling stories to their grandchildren, all the messy, beautiful, complicated things that made human life worth living. Dr. Yang, begin the transmission, she ordered. Across the fleet, the quantum transmitters activated, but instead of sending radio signals or data streams, they began broadcasting something the universe had never experienced before. Pure human chaos made manifest as organized noise. From the warship, thunder came the sound of soldiers singing their national anthems. The research vessel Discovery transmitted mathematical equations mixed with love poetry. Children on the colony ship, New Hope, sent their laughter and games. Musicians on the transport Melody broadcast every song they knew. "It's working," shouted Dr. Minseo from her science station. "The quantum field is amplifying our transmissions across galactic distances. Every human voice is being heard everywhere at once." The effect on the dark spheres was immediate and dramatic. The perfect blackness of their surfaces began to ripple like water. The nearest sphere, which had been approaching in a straight line, suddenly began to wobble and drift off course. "Commander," Soo-young called excitedly, "the lead sphere has stopped advancing. Its structure appears to be destabilizing." But humanity was just getting started. The quantum network carried more than individual voices. It carried arguments between married couples, children crying for their mothers, teenagers complaining about homework, and old men telling bad jokes. It carried the beautiful chaotic noise of 2 million people being completely messily human. "Add the archives," Hana ordered. "Everything we've ever recorded." The transmitters began broadcasting humanity's entire history. Music from every culture, stories in every language, scientific debates, political arguments, sports commentary, and cooking shows. The random, wonderful noise of a species that had never learned to be quiet. The dark spheres reacted as if they were being attacked with acid. Their perfect surfaces cracked and sparked. Some began spinning wildly out of control. Others simply faded away like smoke. "They can't process it," Dr. Daeun shouted over the communications channel. "The Unmakers are designed to consume ordered silence, but human chaos is too random, too complex. They don't know how to erase something this noisy." One by one, the spheres retreated. Some dissolved completely. Others fled back toward the empty spaces between galaxies where they had come from. Within hours, the sky was clear except for the brilliant stars and the fleet of human ships. Then something wonderful happened. Alien voices began to return to the galaxy. Tentative at first, then stronger and more confident. Species that had been silenced were finding their voices again, learning that the darkness could be defeated. "Commander," Minho said with wonder in his voice, "we're receiving thousands of messages from across the galaxy. They all want to know the same thing. Who are these humans, and how did they save everyone?" Hana smiled as she listened to the growing chorus of galactic civilization returning to life. Humanity had passed the test of voices, not with weapons or technology, but with their beautiful, chaotic refusal to ever shut up. The universe was noisy again, and it was perfect.